what was it they mined up here on the hill?
Oh, what? I'm talking about Dave
Formerly.
Burnstone.
Formally.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we all have a moment of silence for men and women in uniform and those on the front line with this dreaded pandemic, COVID-19? Thank you. We'll call the meeting to order at a few seconds after 6. Any adjustments?
To number 10, add the county tax bill that was received in the town office today.
We'll receive a copy of
It's a
this.
set amount. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just for your information.
Number 10. Thank you. Need a motion to approve July 20th regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the regular meeting minutes for a Board of Selectmen meeting dated July 20th, 2020 with any corrections.
Second.
Any discussion, changes, corrections? All in favor? Thank you. Public to speak with non-agenda items. Hi, Judy.
Judy Morton. I have a concern about the way this board conducted some business back a while ago. And it pertains to an item that wasn't on the agenda. So it was never, posted as an agenda item. It wasn't at a regular selectmen's meeting. It was at a public hearing for the budget. I don't know how the general public.
I missed what it was for, Judy.
It's for what you call the Rangeley houseboats, but the business title is just add water for the rooms. So it wasn't on the agenda, first of all. There was discussion, although the meeting indicates that it lasted for 5 minutes. I didn't see in the minutes like any discussion about and there was action that was taken. And the business owner wasn't here to provide any information. And I just, it's not the way I think we should do business in Rangeley, Maine. It goes against the open law meetings, rules and regulations. And, as a result, that business isn't operating any longer. And I find that to be very unfortunate. They're a tremendous, Kevin Sennett and his Rangeley Region Lake Cruises is a tremendous asset to this region. I don't know if any of you have ever taken a cruise with him. Have any of you ever taken a cruise with him?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have taken several. He has a variety of them. The Just Add Water floating homes was in business for 2 years without a single complaint lodged against it until very recently. And things would change mid-course for that business. They pay lodging taxes. I think it's unfortunate that, it is another lodging option in Rangeley, Maine, and some people might have a problem with that. And I think that's unfortunate that that business, as a result, isn't in business any longer. So I thought I'd come here first and find out, how that all happened.
You want to chime in? I'll start to the right.
I wasn't present at that budget hearing.
You have the exact minutes verbatim for that?
Not right, I do, not right in front of me.
Yeah.
Judy, if you were here, when the Senates were here at the last meeting, was it the last meeting?
July 20th.
Yeah, we addressed that exact question that you're asking, so we're gonna answer it again, I guess. The planning board determined, correct me if I'm wrong, that they needed a CUP to continue operating. So we made a motion and had them, ask them to cease and desist until they, were permitted a CUP or applied for one. And that's about as simple as I can put it.
Is that the select board's, normal way of doing business?
Can you help me with that?
Or should that have been handled through the planning board? I mean, these folks, I mean, my contention is these folks operated for 2 years without a single complaint.
I'm gonna,
And then, and then, when they went to the planning board, I mean, and then at a meeting that they weren't present at, weren't able to talk about, they were told that they needed to cease and desist. And I remember I had a little incident about a stop work order that was implemented, but we were told, and probably written, that they wouldn't enforce it. So, I mean, are all stop work orders the same? Or is there selective enforcement of them?
did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not entirely true that there were no complaints. The previous code enforcement officer was in pretty constant communication with Brianna regarding the classification of her business and the need for a conditional use permit. Brianna did not agree with our town's attorney's finding on that, so she didn't feel she needed a conditional use permit.
At what point in time, Tracy?
You started in August 2019. That's all the farther back I went in Tom's emails to see where the communication had started and where it had been left off. So when the stop work order was actually with the town attorney when Tom left, so I just picked up where he had left off, because that's, that was what you try and do when somebody moves their position so that the work continues. Brianna did not want to come to see the planning board, so without a conditional use permit, we ordered her to stop working until we could come to a workable situation. If she would have submitted an application, I don't think she would have had to close her business, but she wasn't willing to do that.
She wasn't willing to do that, from what I understand, was because of the way she was treated prior, just feeling that everything was arbitrary and unfair.
And she never came in to talk to anybody, so what was unfair?
Well, she did talk to the CEO and to the town manager at a point in time.
And that's when they were working on the determination of whether it was a commercial business in the shoreland zone and what would be required to operate that. So once the town's attorney came to her conclusion, which would be foolish for us to not follow what the town attorney advises us to do, that's why we pay her. At that point,
Don't do
at
that,
that
Tracy.
point, at that
Don't do
point,
what?
You had a town attorney that told you that cement batch plants were heavy industrial, and you totally ignored it, so.
Well,
No, that's
Yeah.
not true at all. That was the planning board. That planning board, they operate a completely separate arm than we do as far as that went. So,
As they should,
yeah, absolutely,
as they should, Cindy.
absolutely.
But you did have a town attorney, the planning board asked for the town attorney's
Yes.
opinion. And the town attorney said that cement batch plants were determined since 18
Yeah.
something to be heavy
Heavy
industrial.
industrial, yeah,
And heavy industrial cannot go into a commercial zone
exactly.
or anything. So, I'm sorry, but you don't always listen to the town attorney.
Well, that's your- you're speaking-
Boards don't always listen to town attorneys.
well, I did, and in moving forward with what the town attorney advised us to do, we requested Brianna to give us a conditional use permit. And so she came and she spoke to the planning board without a permit, and after that meeting, just decided she'd rather close her business than talk to town officials about finding something that might be workable for all.
And when did the town attorney make that determination?
March.
Yeah, and I think she was deployed at the time.
I don't know if she was, I don't know, possibly, but she hadn't started her summer season for this year yet either.
Right.
So, I mean, there was time in there that she could have worked through the process and just elected not to.
And I understand all that. What I don't understand is the board of selectmen taking up an item that isn't on the agenda without the business present and making a determination that in the prime 6 weeks of earning, as we all know, in the summer season, effectively would shut down business. That's my concern.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Anybody on Zoom land for public to speak? Dennis? That isn't Dennis, is it? Mark? No? Lisa Scrivener? Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me? Hi, it's Lisa.
Okay, Lisa.
Hi, Judy, we haven't met, and I
Wait a
appreciate,
minute, wait a minute. This isn't a rebuttal for Judy. What do you have to share or questions for public to speak?
it's just, she has some inaccurate information. It hasn't been that Deanna operated for 3 years without any complaints. That's all. I wanted to address that a little bit, but I don't,
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
no.
Okay, Dennis, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, Rebecca?
Not a word.
Okay, thank you.
Can I-
Yes, Judy.
So if there were complaints, which board handled those complaints?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis as I remember them, and please don't hold me to dates because I don't have them in front of me. All of this came to us through the code enforcement officer. There were requests by the code enforcement officer for us to act. We made the request that it go through the planning board. Now, I don't remember the public hearing incident you're referring to, I apologize.
It was the budget. It was, you had a non-first and third Monday hearing.
During the budget hearings?
It was to accept the budget, June 22nd.
Okay,
There was nothing, there were not even an adjustment to the agenda, on the agenda. There wasn't correspondence on the agenda. There was nothing on the agenda that would indicate that anything other than the budget would be discussed. To say nothing about acted on, without the public being able to participate.
okay.
I have the agenda if you want it.
If you could make it available to the, well, yeah, I mean, we could look back either way,
I have
sure.
all those agendas also.
If this, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna speculate because I haven't read it.
Take my word for it.
Well, I'm not calling you a liar. No, I just don't remember it, Judy, that's all. And I am taking your word for it at this point, but I mean, I can't respond, nor can any of us without reviewing it.
And I guess, is this going to become a practice of this board to discuss and take action on items that aren't on the agenda? And is there a way to correct that having already been done?
I can't answer that without looking at it.
All I answer this, the way to correct it, I don't know that we feel that we acted correctly. You obviously do. You came and presented what you feel about this at a meeting. You said you weren't present at, but you want us to remember it from months back. So
Ethan,
I would say that give us a chance to look back and see what exactly happened, read through it, and then come up with a different answer for you.
I can show you right now.
Well,
If you want me
You
to show
brought it to our attention, we'll look it over, and if it needs to be an agenda item, we'll do that. Okay? Well, when this is public to speak, we're not gonna debate this tonight without everybody having an opportunity to review.
Well, that's the point I'm making, Steve,
Thank you.
is that people ought to be present when decisions are made.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yep. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Boards and committees. You can see the June 24th, 2020 planning board meeting. Any changes, corrections, anything you want to comment on that? Consent, was there anything? Consent items, event permit, Range Lakes Historical Society, Quasit Day, First Responder Challenge.
I'll make a motion that we approve the event permit application submitted by the Rangeley Lakes Historical Society for the First Responder Challenge to take place on August 15th, starting at 11 a.m.
Second.
Question, discussion?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So on that, does it have to be signed off by the town manager?
Well, that would be me.
I know, that's what. And are there anybody else, or is it just Parks that had to sign off?
Parks was the only one that needed to be notified of things that were needed.
I asked him if he needed any of the town proof or anything, the answer was no.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? All in favor? Quick claim deed, 2205, page 159. 276, 67, page 92. Tracy, anything on this one you want to?
No, they're from, I think, 2004 is what Rebecca had said. They're old. They just need to be discharged.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the municipal quitclaim deed for Marjorie Ann Darby as presented.
Second.
Questions? Comments? All in favor? Thank you. 409, page 343.
I'll make a motion that we approve the municipal quitclaim deed for Elizabeth A. Schurz as presented.
Second.
Questions? All in favor? Sewer reserve, up to $12,000 for a truck body paint on a 2014 F-250. He told me that he got 40,000 miles on it, something like that.
40,000, yes. I'd like to revise that if that's okay, to up to 15,000, because I didn't get a price from Mike Booth for painting. At $12,000, as you saw, it includes a lift gate and other things, components to that truck that Tilly Body will allow us to better utilize that pickup and obviously extend that lifespan of that truck another 6 to 8 years. Rather than trading it or getting it, make it more useful. All around for public works.
Questions? Yes, sir.
So is this because the body of the truck is failing or you're modifying the truck for?
I'd like to modify the truck. So, back a little bit. What was approved in this budget was the Parks and Rec truck we put delivering last year. I put in the budget for a body for that truck. Then I got to thinking with the sewer individuals that rather than pursuing a new truck in the next budget, we can make this truck more useful and modify it with a utility body with a lift gate. And one, safety becomes less of a concern lifting, and then the truck becomes more outfitted for our emergency calls or our standard calls for the pump station. So I didn't plan for it in the budget because it was an afterthought. And now that I can use the same company, F3, for both pickup bodies and get a deal. I have a common number on that deal between the two trucks, but we're still working on that. But sewer truck with paint and everything, like the not to exceed 15,000.
What do they do with the old body, just out of curiosity?
So right now, the one we took off the Parks and Rec truck is on hold. We looked at trying to get a quote from Coos, judgment call on. It's restorable. It's just components you have to do some work.
No, but I mean, if you're putting the utility body on the white truck, right?
So
Sell
we-
it, sell it
same idea.
out or whatever.
We could sell it, if it's based on condition, which that one is same idea, it's solid, but needs some paint work.
Yep.
You can make some money off of it.
Just for it.
I'm not sure how much.
I didn't know if they did a core for it, just put it in the price, but.
Mike might do something with that. You have to approach Mike to say, you take X off the bill for these two bodies. Potentially is a negotiated item there. If we have those permissions, obviously, depending what the deal would be.
So at this point, you have in your capital plan to purchase a sewer truck for fiscal year 2021, 2022 that you're going to remove?
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna note that.
100% okay. I will quote myself on that right now first.
Yes,
Is it a 2014 or 15? The invoice says 15.
So yeah, that should be a,
Then the
that
notes
should,
say
that should be
14.
a 14.
It's a 14?
Unless it's one of those, I think it's 14. Only thing I can think is that could be one of those
Half model.
bin sticker half model years, so they could be considered a 15.
Oh.
I mean, also, I'll verify that
Okay.
anything else? Anything else? All in favor of expending 15?
I think we have to make a motion.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I'll make a motion to expend up to $15,000 from the sewer reserve fund for truck body and painting on the 2014 F-250.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks.
now. Thank you.
Appointments, cemetery committee, zoning board, planning board, health officer, school board, 3 positions, emergency management director, registrar of voters. We have any applicants for any of them?
Yeah, Dennis Markey has applied for the cemetery committee and the zoning board of appeals. Who else for planning board? We got somebody in there for planning board also. Wes is going to be re-upping his term for the planning board. The health officer is Lindsay Savage. School board members, those are the people that were voted in. They just need your signature, just need your approval on the page. Emergency management director is Mike Bacon. These are just like annual cleanup, housekeeping items for the.
How many of them require motion?
They all do.
They all require a
All
motion.
You gotta do one at a
It's
time.
just the house.
What's up?
Yeah.
Have to do each one at a time.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Dennis Markey for a 3-year term on the cemetery committee.
Okay.
Dennis, anything you'd like to say?
No,
Okay.
What do you say? So say thank you.
Yes.
All in favor of Dennis on the cemetery committee? Thank you, Dennis.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve Dennis Marquis, a request for appointment to the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Any more?
I'll make a motion to approve Wes Dugan's request for appointment to the planning board for a 1-year term.
Second.
All in favor? I'm assuming you talked to every one of them. Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve Lindsay Savage's appointment as health officer for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Make a motion to approve Christopher Farmer's appointment to the school board committee with a term to expire June 30th of 2022.
Second.
Anything to say, Chris? Okay, all in favor?
I'm good.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve Karen Siemens' request, I'm sorry, not a request. Karen Siemens' appointment to the school board committee, her office term to expire June 30th of 2022.
Second.
All in favor? On the roll, Cindy.
Make a motion to approve the appointment of Michael Bacon as emergency management director with his term set to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor? Go back to school board. now.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Jessica Botcher's appointment to the school board committee with her term set to expire June 30th of 2023.
Discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
And a motion to approve Kayla L. York as the registrar of voters for a 2-year term.
Second.
All in favor?
Was that name changed? Do we have to amend
I
the
haven't
change?
changed, I haven't changed it with the Secretary of State yet, because everything's appointment only right now, so I'm waiting for Social Security office, and all of that, I had to make appointments, so. I'm getting there slowly but surely. It's more of a process than I thought.
Thank you. Under number 7, you see correspondence from Brad White regarding the houseboats on Rangeley Lake. Anybody like to comment on that? Okay,
Looks like they read it at the July 22nd planning board meeting. Did that happen as he requested, or?
It was in her packet.
Okay,
It was quite a packet.
okay.
Correspondence and whatnot, so.
county tax commitment under old business number. This year's county tax, got all the whereases, $690,360. This is just an update, but that's the bill we're getting. Any questions? Anything from Zoom land? Okay. Possible tax acquired properties. Rebecca, could you chime in, please, and tell us about 82 Judkins Road?
All right, so 82 Judkins Road. Last time we've had a payment on this property was November 2016. I have tried and tried to get a hold of this Richard and Rachel. Quite possibly, they are deceased, but I cannot find any family members. They used to have a residence near Belgrade. I've contacted the Belgrade town office, and nobody that's there has ever heard of them. So it's the police chief tried to hand deliver a notice to them, and the property looks run down.
Yes.
So I checked on the registry over the weekend, and it looks like if you look on the side of where the trust deed was created, it actually has an attorney office on it. Is it Bargett and Bargett? And what you might want to do is contact the trust attorney, because usually they hold those trust documents. And I do have a couple phone numbers for you if you want.
Yeah, email those to me. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Even if the original trustees are deceased, they often have successor trustees if it's, if the trust document allows it.
Rebecca, what's your recommended action?
Well, I would like to follow up with that first to
Okay.
see if I can get any information.
Okay. 5 Marble Hill Drive.
For Margaret and Kirk Betts, they actually occupy this residence. The last time there was a payment was October of 2016. I provided all the state required notices. After foreclosure, I also sent a letter certified on March 30th, and then the police chief hand delivered a notice stating that if it wasn't paid by today's date, that it would be going to you guys for a decision.
What's your recommended action on that one, Rebecca?
That's, so you have different options. I mean, you can choose to take away the tax acquired, and try to work something out through our attorney. You could sell the property with the tenants still in it, and the tenants would be, without the, they would have to deal with the new owners of the property. The new owners would have to evict or decide to do rent or whatever. I don't know if we can actually get them into the town office. They just not cooperating whatsoever. I don't agree with making a plan with the town's attorney for a payment. That doesn't usually work out.
Anything from the board? Kelly? I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Does anything fall into something different because we're of COVID that you know of?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
So are there any other restrictions that, because of COVID, that might be a challenge? I'm just throwing that out there.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I waited so long, is I actually contacted one of the properties that had been foreclosed on and a quick claim deed was done it. They were in Italy, and I guess I just didn't take into consideration of everything they were going through. And then after calling and speaking to, or his email, it was the COVID and all, so I was like, you know what, maybe I should just give everybody a few months before I do anything. But at this point, I mean, again, payment hadn't been made since October 2016. COVID became an issue in March.
Steve,
Yes.
there is a chance that, I know there are foreclosure restrictions on lenders. I'm not sure to what extent they extend to municipalities. It may be worth an email to Maine Municipal Association just asking if, there are, if towns are on a required hold for any municipal foreclosures.
Reading through, we have what's called listserv. Everybody is moving forward as the state says, as for foreclosures and liens and everything like that. So
So is your recommendation to go through MMA first and then speak to the two that are known entities, or at least what Shelley has found out? The Vences are here in town.
Yeah, the first one where there's a law office attached to it, definitely reach out to them. I just don't want to get the potential to get caught up in any extra legal fees that aren't. I guess I just would feel comfortable with just that little extra check with MMA. There was an updated release today. There was an executive order from the governor that was released today, and I'm not sure it touches on this at all, but I guess I just feel safe better if we just reached out to MMA.
Yeah, especially since the property is occupied, maybe a little different. If it was an abandoned household, but people live here, so.
Agreed. The same hold true for Danny and Dorothea Robinson.
So it should have been added to your packets. I literally just got a letter back Friday from the Navy. They didn't specify which one was enlisted and active duty, but they are no longer active duty and no forwarding address was provided. They didn't know what a forwarding address.
Yes.
So also for Danny Robinson, I looked up his name at the registry as well. And it looks like he may be owner of a property in Sandy River Plantation. Not sure if it's the same person. They just have the same name and middle initial. And also looking at that, there was a limited power of attorney at one of those closings. And the person that signed for that person was Sheila Waldeck, so I'm not sure if maybe reaching out to her to see if she personally knows them and how to get a hold of them. Or calling Sandy River Plantation to see if they have a contact person, contact address for him in their area.
So if it's all right with you all, let's table this until another meeting after Rebecca has an opportunity to take your information.
I guess, I just, given that 5 Maple Hill Drive is their primary residence, this is I just want to proceed carefully.
Absolutely. I'm gonna sure you do. You all set with that, Rebecca?
I sure am.
Okay, thank you. Tracy, town manager, department head updates, anything we want to change in any of those things? Okay,
Working real hard.
thank you. August 19th, elected officials workshop on webinar. Who signed up for that?
All of
I think we did.
Oh, I see. The business, fire tablet for select board communications versus iPad.
Yes. I think it's basically the same product for several $100 less.
Mhm.
So, and since it's just going to be basically for your emails and that sort of thing.
And given all the emails we've been getting, it's nice, it would be nice to have everything on a secure site so you can then hand it over.
Well, you know what, basically, well, maybe we should wait till select board communication to, that's what you have it under, so.
What I will say about this is that I took the recommendation from Exponet on what would be easy to set up for you guys. And the fire thing is what he had originally set up.
So what was set up before, I'll just flow with it then. What was set up before is, and I'm not even sure if, this may have been pre-Exponet or maybe was that we were able to access select board information through a sign-in process on the website.
Yeah, Kara had set that up. Was it very functional? I don't remember anybody really using it.
I don't think, because the laptops are so old and archaic and slow, I think it only lasted a couple of.
We were moving in a direction of electronic packets versus the hard copy.
Yeah.
It's provided to you now.
Yeah. And then, the whole email piece didn't get very far. So the tablets, we would actually, maybe someone else has another thought, they would be something we have with us all the time, because that's how we access our selected email.
I don't know how you can have it with you all the time.
It is something that, if there's any select board communication, those emails happen through the fire tablets or the, so that we're not using our own personal devices.
I hope the notion is that we have to carry it with us all the time.
We just need to have it available
There you
all the time. We don't need to carry it with us, but it's at our homes to check once a day for emails.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, given what we've all been going through, your emails are probably about, well, maybe yours as well, but mine are interspersed from hundreds and hundreds of others.
Yeah.
So.
I have an email address that only takes like 40 emails. But that's what we all do.
Yeah. Keith?
I just want to speak on your comment originally about the device certainty, I guess, my iPad with this Fire tablet is, I think it's a wise decision to go with a cheaper end. I don't get cheaper tablet, this sounds awful, but less expensive tablet based on your conversation just a minute ago with the ever evolution of technology and our updates. So at this point, as updates and any device become unavailable, now we can simply disperse and get a $200 tablet rather than a $1,000 tablet.
Yeah.
So now you easily can update those or purchase new ones at a less expensive cost as you, every few years, as something happens to them or become outdated.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Let's go with the, I mean, I've had a Fire tablet before. I didn't care for the kind of the automatic ads that come with it based on what Amazon wants you to see when you open, but I think we should go the cheaper route and see if this is going to.
Because I know nothing about fire tablets, do you have the same security?
It's been years. I don't recall, Steve.
So
And of
my
course,
question then is, if the security, does it come with the program or does it come with the tablet?
Expedit's going to, so when I order these, I'm having them shipped directly to Expedit to be set up with all those sorts of things.
That's the answer. Okay, thank you.
There are other options too, just the recommend, other than the recommendation, but if you get a similar Galaxy tablet, that doesn't have that Amazon or affiliation with a product, so it doesn't give you ads. And we use it for the sewer department, it's a $300 tablet. So far, it's worked out great, and it has same 64 gig memory. So there's other compatible ones, and that option if Josh determines that it is a nuisance to have that Amazon portion to it.
You have a question? No.
Thank you for looking into this.
Anything else from the board?
Oh, wait, I just, sorry. So we can have separate emails set up through the town with our addresses, and then those are.
Anything from Zoom land? Oh, I'm sorry, hang on. Do you have anything? Zoom land, anybody out there? Yes, Mark. Chris?
Yes, I'd like to say something. I guess the biggest thing is to make sure is technology is constantly changing. So I think anything you can do on a cloud-based and not necessarily worry about the instrument you're downloading it onto. There's several things, secure OneDrive. You can use Google Docs, but lock it for only specific persons to have access to. And you definitely should have email set up with just your town email. Otherwise, if there's an issue down the road, then your personal email becomes subject to subpoena.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Do you have any idea what we're up against for cost?
Well, these are $189, but I can look at the Galaxy ones also if they don't come with the advertising. It's only a couple $100.
Yeah, I'm at the total,
And then-
once they're all set up.
I don't know, but I'm not sure. I think he said, I can go back to the old meeting.
Like, I would say $100 personally. If you want to get out, you know, if you're $300 piece, just say, and you figure
That's not,
that's
that's
not,
probably take a couple hours per tablet.
I think it's actually $2 grand, but you say.
All right, remember too, we also talked about all of this, reflected to be able to interface with Chief Bacon and all of that, certainly not the police department, because that's all confidential, but he had talked to us about that, so that program we'd be able to work back and forth.
It will, correct.
Yep. All right, you come back to us with a number for the next one? Yes.
For setup and everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Agreement?
Yeah, I think we've got 4,000 and change, so, you know, that was approved in the budget, so,
We have the technology reserve also.
okay.
No, really?
Off-site solar update. You're gonna feel that one, you Pete?
I actually, I don't know the time of that at this moment.
Just letting us know that that's
making progress.
right along, the right on
Yeah.
schedule, it's just to show you what we're looking at, and, yeah.
Since we're on the notion of, or on the solar, have any of you seen the array that they're setting up in Farmington?
Yeah,
Crazy.
Where is it?
Hill Farm on Route 2, heading towards New Sharon,
I'm
left hand side.
right back to,
been a month since I've been.
they've got a, yeah,
It'll be
substation.
the largest in the West.
certainly.
Anyway. Anything on any more on solar, questions, moments? Revenue forecasting committee projections. Questions? This is a terrible statement right here from from Mr. Davis. This does not bode well for schools and towns. Get ready. Comments, questions? Moving right along? Depot Street parking.
So this is just a survey of what it was and we, you know, we need to do the process of buying it, so I just put this in there as an update, so you don't have it.
Okay.
We're waiting,
Go ahead.
we're waiting to wait from.
Yeah, we're waiting for the survey and this, yeah.
So just to bring the board up to date, the sale has gone through.
Well, we just got it surveyed, so we're,
Okay.
so I'm not gonna lie, this is my first time working through the purchase of anything since I worked. in
No
town
problem.
office. So, you know, we just,
Good.
working our way through it.
I don't know if any of you all have heard it, but there was a question brought to me by Monica Taylor that we were providing extra parking on Allen Street for the shed. That's not correct. Just so that you're all aware of that. The bump out next to what used to be Stub Bean and Steve and Joanne's house is to make the turn correctly, not for extra parking. How's it coming?
Good, they are roughly 75% done with the box cut. So road elevations are changing, because of that right now, you understand that we are significantly different in some places. Up to 2 feet difference in the elevation of the road, and once we're done with that, we'll go back down and revisit the curbing on the left-hand side of the road, left-hand side, as well as the hill, we'll remove that curbing, set it back 5 feet, and continue up the road, the rest of the curbing. So it's very well, things have really turned around with the condition of the road and maintenance, communication, so I'm very happy.
Next. On time, you think, for this year? Ahead of schedule? On schedule?
I'll say on time, and definitely, base coat payment should be achievable, by all means, within, respective timeframe.
Questions, Keith? You sure? Okay.
And well, look, like a lot of material off that truck right now, off the box that, sorry, is coming to Great View, transfer station, because our organizers have been, building out here at the transfer station, we've expanded the debris pile area. And then the cemetery right now is stockpiling a bunch of material, 100,000 yards right now, over there, and actually utilized for our own uses and or at least build the cemetery.
Thank you. So we have a MMA dividend check that the Board of Selectmen get to divide.
We don't get to keep it, we just get it divided. See if we can figure out the math.
Cindy said she didn't need any of it, so it could all go to Ethan.
Well,
You want to tell us about that?
We get that every year, because
Yeah.
we put it all on our ratings, so I think this one's a little bit more than last year was. But,
Any questions on the organizational notice or general obligation bond?
Make a motion to accept the money.
We don't need to accept that, no. That's good. Probably already deposited.
Oh, what a compliment.
Yeah. Any questions on the obligation bond? Next up is MMA annual election. Cast your ballots. I'm assuming you're all getting those notices too, correct? Okay, good. Questions on that? Want to make a motion to elect somebody or let the ballot slide? The slate slide. Okay, Marion?
I think they're individual,
No.
state municipality, or signed by majority municipal officers out, yeah. I haven't really looked too closely at this in all honesty.
The way I understood this thing, and I can't remember the
They
name,
basically,
that these will go through unless there is.
yeah, I mean, unless we had someone else we wanted to, they presented 4 names for 4 positions.
Let me ask it this way. Anybody want to present any different names? Next. Select board communications. Okay.
I'm guessing the kind of follow. Sorry, back here. There's one comment on Zoom put it up here, which is from Mr. Farmer that states that foreclosures were only suspended until the 31st of July. Just put out this, we follow suit with the rules.
Thank you. Select board communications, Cindy?
Yeah, if we could just have an updated, I guess, looking back at all the requests for appointments, if at our next meeting, we could have a list of vacancies, so that we can hopefully appeal to those who would like to fill those vacancies.
Yeah, that's right. Anything else, Cindy?
No.
Ethan? No?
So I just noticed that when I got my policy binder, I think I'm missing some policies that, like, I didn't have the investment policy that we have or the fund balance policy. And I'm trying to think if there, I think I got the HR one, I got the other ones, but I think that that's it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Those are just 2 that I can think of right now, but it wasn't in the packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else? Anything else? Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 405, 6E for consultation with legal counsel.
Second.
All in favor?